All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to more 428 Shibuya Scramble. My name is Raven from the Sky, and let's continue. Okay, so the last video, that was the ending of her story, but it seems like it's an extra, like, 2 blocks, like another, all the way up to 1800. I don't know. Maybe that's the true ending if you get all the way up there. I don't know. A game like this, if it has multiple bad endings, that means it's multiple good endings too. So really, Maria, Tateno responded by removing the young woman's blindfold. There was no doubt about it. She looked very much like Hitomi Osawa. The surge of frustration rushed through Kano. Detective Tateno. What is the meaning of this? Kano fought to remain calm. He felt like he was on the verge of falling to pieces. Bring me Hitomi Osawa, and I'll let this girl go. Why? What do you need Hitomi for? But Tateno's only answer was an icy stare. This isn't like you. It's so weird. The Detective Tateno, who I knew. Who you know? Tateno cut him off. What do you know about me? I know what sort of detective you are, sir. Because I've modeled myself after you for my whole career. The older man's expression remained stony. Don't you remember? Kano went on. That time when you risked your life to talk down that man who had barricaded himself inside that office. Ever since then, you've been my... Tateno interrupted him with a sudden burst of laughter. You really are gullible, you know that? You can only see things the way you want to see them. What do you mean by that? The truth is, I didn't even care if I died doing what I did. That's why I doused myself in gasoline. Tateno's voice had gone low and quiet. That was no display of heroics. It was more attempted suicide than anything else. I wasn't thinking about the other people still inside the building. It's just a coincidence things turned out the way they did. So then, if you'd made a single misstep, then everyone in that building might as well have burned to death. You're lying! That can't be true. Kano shook his head instantly. I don't have time for this conversation. Tateno pressed the barrel of his gun to Maria's head. If you don't bring Hitomi Osawa to me, believe me, I'll blow her brains out. Please stop this, Kano shouted. There was no hesitation in Tateno's eyes. He looked like he really would shoot Maria if Kano didn't do as he asked. Hurry up! Bring Hitomi to me. Can't you at least tell me what's going on? Go now or help me, I'll shoot. Kano drew his own gun from his jacket. Oh God. I know you, Detective Tateno. I know there's some meaning behind all this. Kano's words came out as a man imploring croak. You think you can shoot me? Tateno spat, letting Al-Caron go free. Taking Maria hostage. This has to mean something. Sweat made Kano's hands slick where he clutched his gun. I asked if you think you can shoot me. I've always looked up to you. You were the sort of detective I wanted to become. Kano's view of Tateno began to blur as tears welled in his eyes. Can you shoot me, Kano? I can. Even as he cried, Kano stood resolutely doing his best to stare down the older man. He set his finger squarely on the trigger and pointed his gun at Tateno's forehead. Suddenly, the peering stare vanished from the other detective's eyes. The piercing stare. I've got to give you full marks for that. Kano. Tateno smiled thinly. I'll tell you then. I'll tell you while I'm doing this. It all happened 17 years ago. Jesus. That's almost 20 years ago. Might as well be. A meth addict had assaulted someone in Shibuya. Tateno was questioning people around Dogenzaka in search of the perp. He happened to pass by Endo Electronics. Oh, hey, Tateno. It was Kotone Endo, clad in pristine white. Is that baby Aichi? Clutched to her breast was her daughter Suzune, only a few months old. Oh, so that's Suzune, not Aichi. It's been a long time, Kotone. She flashed a tiny smile. Yes, it has. Tateno replied with a clumsy smile of his. Wait a minute. If that's the friend that he had a thing for, and they dated, that means his other best friend is Aichi's dad. Oh my God. Are you on the job? Yes, I am. Kotone recoiled slightly at the dour look on Tateno's face. Is something the matter? There's an armed criminal hiding out somewhere in the area. What? I wouldn't leave the shop for a while if you can avoid it, but I have to go to the bank to deposit some money. Surely you can have Daisuke go do it. He's away on a repair job and hasn't come back yet. Oh wait, no. I said his other friend. His other friend didn't date her. I don't know what I'm talking about. Tateno let out a one-note sigh. I see, Daisuke still does things his own way. Wait a minute. Or did they? I don't know. All right, let me escort you to the bank. You mean it? I'd feel a lot safer having you with me. Kotone flashed him a smile so wide that Tateno thought he might lose himself in it. Tateno, Kotone, and Oh, so they did. So he did end up going with her. She dated what's the name, Tateno first, but they broke up. So I guess she ended up going with Daisuke and having Aichi and Suzune by him. Wow. And had to go to school together up through high school. Wow. See how everything's intertwined? Everybody's connected somehow. This is a good game. Tateno and Daisuke were always clowning around together, and Kotone was always there alongside them laughing. It had been quite some time since he'd gotten to walk along Dogenzaka with Kotone. How have you been lately? Well, with a newborn to look after, it's been pretty hectic. There's never a dull moment. Things have been good. I'm glad to hear it. Kotone was always as bright as a sunflower. Sometimes Tateno managed to convince himself that just the sight of her was enough. Outside the bank, Kotone held Suzune out to him. Tateno received the baby with an anxious frown. What's with the face? I'm not good with babies. I haven't held one very often. Oh, you'll be fine, don't worry. Just hold on to her for a minute while I take care of things inside. All right. He held the baby gingerly, like it was a bomb. Like it was a bomb that might explode at any moment. Kotone chuckled softly. Suzune stirred and squirmed in Tateno's arms. She kind of has Kotone's eyes, he thought. It was strange, this sensation of holding a child. She was so soft and light, and yet such a real and responsive presence. The faint warmth of her body warmed Tateno inwardly in turn. When Kotone returned after making her deposit, they strolled to a nearby park, Suzune back in her mother's arms. Do you have any plans for marriage, Tateno? I haven't thought about it. Work has me plenty busy. Oh, that's just an excuse, Kotone said. If there really were some woman you wanted to marry, you wouldn't let work stop you. Then I suppose it's because there hasn't been anyone I felt that way about. Really? Nobody? This whole time? Yep, really. I see. But still, seeing the two of you like this makes me realize how nice having a family could be. Tateno peered deeply into Suzune's face. Well, if it ain't Tateno. He looked up at a cheery voice cut into the conversation. It was Daisuke. What are you doing here? He asked his wife. I could ask you the same question. Come on, give me a break. I've come to make the deposit for the client. In that case, no need to worry. I just took care of it myself. I thought you'd forgotten about it. Huh? Really? Kotone smiled as Daisuke reached down and carefully lifted Suzune in his arms. Beaming happily at his daughter, he nuzzled up against her tiny cheek. Daisuke, long time no see. Yeah, glad you're doing well for yourself, Tateno. They walked side by side. Daisuke proudly showed off Suzune's drowsing face. What do you think? Adorable, isn't she? Yeah, luckily she doesn't have your looks. Hey now, bad-mouthing me the same as ever, huh? Some things hadn't changed since high school. Why not drop by our place for a bit? Daisuke offered. Oh, sorry, I'm in the middle of a job, actually. Tateno turned to glance at Kotone. Oh, no. An instant later, Daisuke screamed, Kotone! A man had come up behind his wife and now held a kitchen knife to her throat. Man, this idiot would be at the park! Kotone stood stiffly, frozen in terror. Let her go! Tateno took a step forward to the man. The slightly upturned eyes, the close-cropped hair, the thin mustache. All the details matched the description. This had to be the man Tateno was after. Well, he would be there. Shut your darn mouth! You wanna try and kill me, huh? This lady here wants to try and kill me! The man was babbling nonsense. The reports had said the suspect was a tweaker. So he's on something. Right now, his mind was probably a complete mess from the meth withdrawal. Left unchecked, there was no telling what he might do. That's true. Ain't no telling what they gonna do. Tateno shoved Daisuke behind him and drew his gun from his jacket. Wait, don't shoot. You'll hit Kotone. But Tateno ignored Daisuke's shouts and trained his gun on the perp's shoulder. He was confident in his marksmanship. He'd never miss at this range. Tateno, please, back down, Daisuke pleaded. Suzune still clutched in his arms. I beg you. I can't, Tateno hissed under his breath. This isn't someone we can reason with. The assailant began waving his knife about. He could stab it into Kotone at any moment. Ooh! Now he's got it all the way up to her neck. Tateno had to take the shot now. He aimed for the shoulder of the arm of the man. Shoulder of the arm the man held the knife in. Tateno, stop! Setsuko shouted. Don't do this! For a brief moment, Tateno's eyes met Kotone's. He thought he saw her give a tiny nod. Don't shoot! No! It was all over in an instant. By the time Tateno had the perp subdued, Kotone's white shirt was soaked through with red. With Kotone's death, so too died Tateno's heart. Whatever feelings had lived inside him had been reduced to cinders. Wow, so, and Aichi doesn't even know that this is the assassin that was chasing him around. Aichi doesn't even know that's his godfather, because you know your godmom and your godfather is like your parents' best friend. That's his dad's best friend. Aichi don't even know it, leaving only a never-ending need to atone. Countless times he thought of ending his life in order to make things up to Daisuke and his children. The only reason he didn't go through with it was that he knew death would be the easy way out. And so he stayed on as a detective. He would carry the weight of his sins with him for as long as he lived. This was the sentence Tateno gave himself. "15 years had passed since Kotone's death. For the first time, Tateno had gone to visit her grave. He was standing by the grave marker with his hands clasped when someone called out to him from behind. Excuse me." A slender young girl stood there, flowers in hand. Tateno instantly recognized her, Suzune. She looked just like Kotone had back in her high school days. "Do you know my mother?" she asked. Yes. We were classmates a long time ago." "Oh, really? Thank you so much for coming." Suzune gave a slight bow, then gazed up at Tateno with her big, bright eyes. You look just like her." Tateno struggled to hold back the tears. He felt as if Kotone stood before him, returned to life. My father tells me the same thing all the time. I'm sure once you're all grown up, you'll be just as beautiful as she was. A forlorn smile came to Suzune's face. Once I'm grown up, well, I don't think that's going to happen. I guess I really do have a lot in common with my mother, including the part where I'm going to die young. Don't be ridiculous, Tateno exclaimed. Why would you say such a horrible thing? Suzune took a step backward, looking shocked to be rebuked by a stranger. My apologies, he said hurriedly. I didn't mean to startle you. No, it's all right, Suzune murmured, clutching the flowers close. Honestly, it's not something I like to talk about myself. But I'm sick, so there's not really anything I can do to change it. Sick? I have a heart condition. A generic expression for illness pertaining to the heart, also referred to as heart disease, include things like heart failure, valvular heart disease, and so forth. A transplant is the only thing that can help. Yep. Only thing is, like, if you guys haven't seen the episodes, you have to wait for a donor to come up. And see, you literally have to wait because your blood type, based on your blood type, if it's rare, and then that means your heart could stop at any moment, shut down, and that's the only bad thing. You have to wait for a donor. Doesn't look like they'll be able to find a compatible donor, The immune system exists to get rid of foreign substances in the body. Often the patient's immune system will attack a transplanted organ, which can result in the organ failing, or functioning poorly. To mitigate the risk of rejection, it is preferable for the donor and the recipient to have matching body tissue. In the case of a heart transplant, characteristics such as blood type and pre-sensitized antibodies, human leukocyte antigens must be screened ahead of time. So I'm telling you, you gotta wait. It's all that stuff that comes into play. You can't just pluck the heart out of that guy. He died in a car accident. Pluck your heart out, switch him. There you go. Because it'll start. You'll seem fine for like a week or a month. The next thing you know, you start getting sick because your body's attacking the organ. Then, bowing her head, Suzune stepped in front of the gravestone and clasped her hands in silence. Tateno felt a wrenching pain inside him, as if Kotone were being taken from him all over again. If there really was a God, why would he do such dreadful things? Is there nothing I can do? He nearly lamented aloud. I'll do anything, Suzune. I'll do whatever I have to in order to save you. Tateno clenched his fist as he stared at the grave. Tell me, Kotone. What can I possibly do for your daughter? Please tell me, please. And so the months rolled on. Everything changed just after 10 o'clock that morning. Tateno was on the stakeout when his cell phone rang. He glanced at the call display and saw Daisuke Endo's name. He hadn't heard from Daisuke in years now, Fearing that something had happened to Suzune, Tateno answered the call despite his current tense circumstances. At once, he heard Daisuke wailing. Suzune had a seizure. She might not come back from this one. Tateno's terrible suspicions had been right on the mark. He felt himself growing weak. Please, Daisuke exclaimed, you need to shoot that girl you're with, that Hitomi Osawa. Oh! You need to shoot her in the head. If we have her heart, we can save Suzune. Oh my God. At first, Tateno couldn't make sense of what Daisuke was saying. That's why he's been chasing her around Shibuya. Because Daisuke said we need her heart to save his daughter. Hurry up and shoot. Shoot her, please. Hitomi Osawa has the Bombay blood type. Wait, hold on, Tateno said, keeping his voice low. You want me to kill Hitomi Osawa? Why? He quickly scanned the area. Daisuke, are you nearby? Wait, where are you? Don't worry about that. If you can just render her brain dead, we'll be able to transplant her heart into Suzune. Brain dead. The term brain dead refers to a state where the entire brain, including the brain stem, is beyond any recovery. In Japan, brain death is defined by Article 6 of the Act on Organ Transplantation, which states that the brain death can only be declared with the goal of authorizing the transplant and is subject to the judgment of at least 2 doctors inspecting the patient according to a preset process at least 6 hours apart. Shooting someone in the head didn't necessarily guarantee they'd wind up brain dead. Right, they die entirely, that's what happened. And even assuming it did, if Tateno shot the Sawa girl in the middle of the scramble, it would cause a giant incident. By the time the autopsy was completed, the window for a heart transplant would surely have passed. Tateno, shoot her, please. Daisuke, I can't. You know I can't do that. Hurry. It was like his old friend wasn't even listening to him. Look, even if she did wind up brain dead, they wouldn't be able to perform a transplant. But Daisuke kept on shouting, it's fine, it'll be fine. I'll make the transplant work somehow. You'll make it work? Even knowing how ridiculous that was, part of Tateno wanted to know what he had in mind, if anything. I finally found it. I found something we can do for Suzune. Please, help me. Help her. Tateno understood Daisuke's feeling painfully well. To be helpless, to stop the suffering of someone you loved. Nothing in the world hurt as much as that. I want to save Suzune, Tateno. This is the one thing I will never ask of you. Tateno could hear choked weeping from the other end of the line. And that sound, something inside him shifted. Yes, Daisuke was right. The likelihood of a transplant happening wasn't the issue. What mattered was that right now, he could take action. He could do something for Suzune. He mustered up his resolve, feeling the doubt lift from his heart. For Suzune. For the daughter of the woman he loved. That's why he's doing what he's doing. Tateno checked the gun, tucked inside his jacket, then slowly began making his way through the crowd toward Hitomi. It's all coming out now. Now you know why we're here. Tateno gestured subtly with his gun, its barrel still pressed against Maria's temple. Kano's own gun wavered in his hand. He was crying inside. There was nothing else he wanted to hear from Tateno now. And now he was sure of one thing. Words were never going to stop this man. Kano, Tateno said, at my age, I've seen all sorts of young detectives come and go. He fixed his lonesome gaze on Kano. And you're about the worst of the lot. Whenever it's time to take action, you immediately do something reckless. Do you know how many formal apologies I've had to write because of you? Tateno let out a heavy sigh. But you know, Kano, because of the way you looked up to me, you saved me. And that's the truth. He sounded like a man speaking his last words. Now come on, see if you can stop me. He pressed the gun harder against Maria's temple. Kano took aim at his former hero's head. Oh God, Detective Tateno! His finger wavered on the trigger. Shoot him. You have to shoot him. If you don't shoot him, Maria's gonna die. He tried desperately to convince himself. I am gonna stop you. Tateno looked him coldly in the eye. Do it then. Shoot me. Kano stared right back. He tightened his finger on the trigger. Oh God, please don't make us choose. Rah! To be continued. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. My name is Raven from the Sky. If you enjoyed the episode, drop a like and subscribe to help the channel and the series grow. Take care and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.